Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of TT Conversations. And I know it's usually Abby that does the hosting and everything, but you know what? It's me. And today, obviously, we're going to be interviewing the one and only Abby
Hello.
Louise. Hello, darling. How are you today?
Yeah, good.
What's it like being on the other end?
I don't
One
like
being interviewed.
it.
I just got to make sure that I can, think of enough questions. Right. So, the main thing I'm going to ask you, because I know a lot of the time it starts off with, you know, asking about like other audio things and, voice acting and stuff, but I want to go back. I want to go back in the days. So, like, what made you want to get into acting in the first place? Because that's one thing I always wanted to know about people. I never really hear how they wanted to start acting or anything. So now I have this opportunity. Haha. Tell me.
um, so I can't really remember when I wanted to get into acting because I got my first stage job when I was 5.
Right. Back in the day, back in the
Back
day.
in the day, I got my first stage role in a show called Tin Pan Alley. I was a kid called Owls. Um, when I was 5, so I can't really remember ever getting into it. It was just always like there.
You were
It was
just
just always something that
there.
I was doing, yeah.
Yeah. And
But
then, so did you go on to like do it at like secondary school or anything like that? Or
I used to be part of like a drama school. Both my primary and my secondary, their like main focus was on drama. They literally had like the two faces as their like
and the wee masks?
yeah. um so it was kind of expected. I went to one of those schools where you had to have like a certain level of music or drama to get in.
Oh, right, okay.
Uh,
Very
so,
fancy.
yeah, it's a fancy pantsy drama-y type thing. And yet considering like I was doing drama from like the age of 5, when it came to like what do you want to be when you grow up,
Hmm.
acting's a hobby not a career.
Yeah. Hmm. We've all heard that.
Yeah,
Anybody who has done that, yeah, it's just that's it. It's just a hobby. It's just a hobby. But for
so
us, no.
yeah, so then like when it came to actually having a career, it was like, yeah, that thing you've been interested in, don't do that.
Hmm.
So then I joined the Navy.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
That's what I always heard. I don't even want acting wasn't even in my thing. I wanted to be either an archaeologist. Mainly, I was mainly influenced by the mummy films. I'm not gonna lie. I think everybody wanted to be an archaeologist because they seen the mummy films. And then I wanted to be a teacher.
I could see that.
No. Like all the students are gonna be way taller
Oh
than me.
yeah, other than that.
I no, I could not hold anything of authority. But like, see with you instead of like going to after secondary school, going to like uni or stuff like that, you went into the Navy.
Yeah, I
And how
did.
long were you in that for?
10 years.
10 years. You've definitely threw that into the mix. Oh, I want you to be in drama, and then Navy.
But the thing that makes me laugh is you do so much pretending in the military.
Really?
So much pretending. Because you obviously have to practice like war scenarios and like fires on the ship and floods on the ship. And you can't obviously do that for real.
Hmm.
So you have to pretend there's a fire in a compartment. Or like I know SFX makeup. And the only reason why
Hmm.
I know that is because the Navy taught me how to like you go into a compartment and somebody's like had something fall on their leg, and I'd have to do like the SFX with all the blood and bits stuck in their legs and stuff. And the only reason why I learned that was because of the Navy. So it's like, right, so I joined this to not act,
Hmm.
and all I'm doing is pretending on sea.
There you go. Put it to good use. Put it to good
Pretending
use. And like you still do SFX now. Like I've seen like the stuff that you've done, like even like realistic bites, which literally look like I'm like, oh, are you all right there? And then Noah, bless him, he kind of gets the brute force of it as well.
Oh yeah,
He
I
just
practice on him daily. He loves it.
just sit down, child. I'm going to put a bite on your arm.
I'm going to make an illegal attack by a zombie. It's fine.
And then after the Navy, what did you do then? Like,
So so when you leave, they try to make, like just before you leave school, they make you do like a plan of action for like before we're like, oh, I'm going to go to this college and I'm going to learn this.
mm-hmm,
Basically, that's what you had to do in nearly the Navy, and I had three options, and one of them was archaeology,
oh,
firefighting because I loved it in the Navy. Weird,
mm-hmm,
I enjoyed it. And they were looking for chefs because I was a chef in the Navy.
mm-hmm.
To They were looking for chefs to go down to the Antarctic to feed the scientists. But due to circumstance, and I have a child now,
Mm-hmm.
none of that happened.
But that's one thing that everybody says, like, about military and everything, even though they don't even know about it. But it's how organized you have to be and how, you have to follow by these set of rules. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact, like, see, whenever you start something, it gets done there and then. And I'm like,
Military
how do you,
precision.
like you can't even. That's the thing. I noticed that a lot of things you can't get distracted by them. It's just you're sitting there like going boom, boom, boom. I'm like, how do you do that? I really couldn't do it. But yeah, so like it's very interesting. Like everybody says, like everybody comes from all walks of life and everything, and they all do different things and everything. But yours is like a very interesting story. Very interesting. Well, it is to me, okay. But like, what made you want to do voice acting then? Because that's not doing on stage or anything. What made you want to do voice acting?
Well, obviously, because I've got my kid
Mhm.
and I'm his carer.
Mhm.
So he takes up a lot of my time. So
Oh
like
yeah.
I because when I wanted to do acting, I wanted to do stage acting, but like
Mhm.
Shakespeare and like not like musical acting, like acting, like, and but I can't be doing that because I'm a single mum, so I have nobody to have my child, so I can't just swan off to the theatre and like
Mhm.
try and get roles and things because I have nobody to have Noah. And then
Mhm.
obviously lockdown happened.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah,
affected everybody in so
yeah, I think
many
it
different
affected a lot of
ways.
people. Like, and then it was like, oh, I was doing TikToks because that was like how a lot of
That,
us like,
yeah, that's what
yeah,
everybody was
yeah.
using during their
And
their
then
COVID time.
Jed put up about Nexus Point, and I was like, hmm, because we'd started doing like role plays um on TikTok
Mhm.
where we'd come up with like a storyline and then like act it out. Oh my god, it was
Oh
such a
yeah.
pain. No, it was a pain. Because one, to start off with, right, so you could see where TikTok updated because so we duet a scene, but
Mhm.
originally you couldn't respond back. So you literally
Yes.
duet and just kind of had to
Mhm.
stand there in silence. But then they changed it, but then the videos could only be 60 seconds long. Oh, it was such a
Oh, it
kerfuffle.
was a big hoo-ha.
Yeah,
Big
and then
hoo-ha.
and then Jed, who was on TikTok at the time, was like, "I'm casting for Nexus Point," and I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" And he was like, "You should have a go." And I auditioned for Mary, and I got it straight away. And it was just
Oh,
like,
there you
"Oh,
go.
okay." And then it just kind of fizzled from there.
Mhm. But then that's how you met a lot of people. A lot of people through TikTok and everything.
Yeah,
And especially like, like the ones like, Grace, who is Grace the 11th on TikTok, and then Matt Barrett as well. You met him. You met a lot of the people that are in
yeah.
TT now on TikTok. Um, just to confirm, what does TT stand for? Because a
Not
lot of
not
people.
not TikTok.
No, but even myself, I thought, okay, it's TikTok, obviously, but it's not.
No, it's time travel.
See, there you go. You learn something new every day.
Hence the
But like,
clock. Hence the clock in our sign. Like,
fair enough. I didn't even. I just thought it was a nice clock. I'm
oh,
not.
look at that wee clock.
Oh, that's a nice wee
It's
clock.
a
Oh,
nice
we
wee
love that.
clock.
But yeah, it's like it's crazy how you meet all these different people from even all over the world, all over England, all where you're from. So how did the whole voice acting TT thing start? Because that's one thing I didn't know about because I only joined like just over a year ago.
Yeah.
My God, I feel old. Oh. But
Um,
so like you like how did that even all come about, Lians?
so James was writing Queer Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I've always wanted to write, but I've never had the confidence to. And he went, "Oh, go on, have a go." So I had a go, and then Angels of Station 2964 happened.
Mm.
So, um, and then while I was writing that, started doing more Jenny stuff, and then the whole like Jenny is a match girl, and then the whole
Mm-hmm. That thing
spiel
happened.
of seven stuff. Yeah, 7 episodes of Jenny. But yeah, basically it was just James York go and have a go at writing.
So James is to blame.
Yeah, for the writing
for
side.
the rain. Like I can't imagine you not writing. It's just like you've come up with so many things. Like how many things have you come up with? How many like things have you written, do you think, on average?
Well, so on our channel, we've divided them up into playlists,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in 41 things. So
Like that's crazy.
I reckon out of those, I didn't write Last of Us
Mm-hmm.
and the Queer Doctor episode I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
and the future ones. So that's 41. I reckon I have written this down actually. I have written this down and I need to find it now. Or maybe I didn't write it down. I reckon it's about 30,
Mm-hmm.
30 audios.
Yeah, we'll say 30 plus.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to think about that. Like, Yuns are just over a year old as well. Maybe coming up to like a year and a half.
Yeah, Angels came out in the August.
That's crazy. Like you've written that many things, and so many things have come out of TT in that short space of time. So God knows how many stories you're going to have, and let's say about like 3 more years or 4 coming up to your 5th year. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
But like that's one thing that people you have to give yourself credit for. Like those amount of stories and everybody else who writes for stuff for TT, like that many in the span of basically a year. It's crazy. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Our channel's just put its 100th video up.
That's
Bearing in
crazy.
mind, I know we have like the TT conversations and the like behind the
Hmm.
duvets as well, but yeah, in total we've just put our 100th video up.
Like in a year. In a
Yeah.
year. So you have 100 videos for basically 365 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Damn.
A lot. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And like that's like I only met Yins by chance really because like
Yeah.
I was mainly only working for Overton Audios. And then I just met Yins by chance.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Oh, Irish girl, hello."
Hello,
And I was
Irish
like,
person.
"Yes, I am Irish." And then obviously, "Here, do you want to do this?" This her girl called Molly. I honestly thought it was going to be a short wee role. She would get killed off or something like that. And now, a year later,
Still playing Molly.
I'm still Molly. Like it's no surprise. I've been Julia Breslin for Overton Audios for about nearly 6.
6.
And no harm, I don't think Connor's stopping anytime soon because it's Connor at the end of the day. But that's one thing I have to admire about Yins as script writers is just how much determination that Yins have and the creativity that you have in your script.
I was talking to Connor about editing today, and we were talking about editing Prankster, which is obviously the one I've been doing today, which is a
Mhm.
pat buy, which will be out by the time this comes out. And the conversation we were having, he was like, only you and me could have this conversation because we were talking about different wobble sounds, you know. If anybody had seen our conversation, they would have been like, what is this?
What is this? Is wobble code word for something?
Literally, Connor's like, we're just having a conversation about wobbles. And I was like, yes, I just listened to 20 different fart noises. It was just like an average day.
Oh, hair. Like, that's one thing as well, like audio editing, it's not there's a lot more that goes I found out there's a lot more that goes into it than you think. And like I've only started audio editing, like the first Pat gang that audio edited. I edited, is that the word?
Yeah,
I just came out like a couple of
importance.
days ago, Importance of Being Strix, and I'm like, dude, and it's doing so well. Like
Yeah, it's got over 100 now.
I'm surprised nobody has said here, that's quite shite. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. It's my first time. Leave me alone. But I'm really proud of it. And
It's
literally,
really
it was
good.
only because you're like, Chelsea, you're going to do this now. Haha. And I'm like, oh, it's
No,
just you
it's
keep
really good.
throwing so much stuff onto me. And I'm like, a new thing. We love a new thing.
Well, the only thing you've not done now is write. Well, no, you have written.
Um,
You've co-written.
I've co-written. That's different. Written is by yourself, which I can't do. Co-writing is literally just sitting there on like a Zoom or whatever, and we're sitting there editing a Google Doc all together. What was my name last time? It was like an anonymous
Anonymous.
hamster.
Yeah.
No, it was
Chinchilla.
chinchilla, anonymous chinchilla, and it was just me. I was just like, who's anonymous chinchilla? And I was like, oh wait, that's me. Oh. But yeah, it's like writing stuff together is so fun as well because I never really experienced that. I think the last thing I wrote was for my uni, and that was bad. But like whenever it comes to like stories and storylines, it's crazy to see whenever you're recording and then people are actually reading the lines that you and you're like so proud. You're so proud. You're like, oh my god,
That's
this
one
actually
thing.
sounds
Like,
amazing.
even though I've written a lot of things, even
Mm-hmm.
now when I'm sat there listening to like it being performed and stuff, I'm like, ah, they're speaking my words. Like I'll never that will never get old. That will never get
Oh
old.
yeah, it's a very surreal feeling as well. But like, what got you? What made you want to edit audios? Because you went from like wanting to write them, and like you didn't even have any experience in editing before, did you? You just kind of went with it. You kind of went with the flow.
I honestly don't remember. I think um because it was very much me and Brandon were kind of leading the Eighth Doctor stuff when we started it.
Hmm.
And I can't even remember how it happened. I think it was just like, yeah, I'll have a go, which is how most of us start with audio editing.
That is basically it.
Yeah, I'll have a go. And then somehow, yeah, I can do it somehow.
You can do it. I still I don't know what it is. How you can just like go blah 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 blah. Like 2 days later, oh, here is an
Here's a
episode, and
complete audio.
I'm like how you?
I'd love to see the inner workings of my brain when I'm audio editing.
Oh,
I've
I
got
really don't know.
ADHD. I've got ADHD, so it might be like a thing to do with that in a weird way.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I can't listen to tracks. I can't listen to soundtracks or like Time Fracture as an example.
Hmm.
So all the way through, they have like audios overlapping and like people talking and like crescendoing and all this stuff. And I remember turning to Jack Reeves last time I went and was like, I can literally see what is happening on Adobe in my head. I see wavy lines.
That's one thing. That's one thing I picked up as well. Is just like, huh. Oh, I see you put a wee fade on it. Oh, I see that. Oh, oh, I can hear that in the background, a little tiny bit. I'm like, oh, it's like picture like attention so towards sounds as well, and you're like, I see. It's like every time I'm watching a movie or something, when I know for a fact the sound has been like ADR or
Yard.
anything has been put in, and I'm like, how that is. I know how that's done. I'm like, basically some man just waving a brush or something to like make a sound of anything. But that's like that's cool. It's like it's also like a creative outlet, especially because we did go through, COVID and everything during the beginning, and how like I was still voice acting, but I was literally to my phone. And then when I joined TT, Abby got me a
Magical
lovely little
microphone
a
show.
magical microphone that I literally got so scared of. I'm like, how do I use this
What
thing?
is this contraption?
What is this? And yes, I have been doing it for nearly 6 years, and I use my phone. And actually, it sounded all right. And then I was like, microphone. I'm like, oh, I should have got this a long time ago. Really should. But no, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy now to think that something that turned into a hobby has now, just become so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's definitely like prioritized. Like it's definitely a priority in my life. It's just like,
Yeah,
right,
100%.
I have my job 5 days a week. What am I doing this weekend? I'm recording. Good, good, good. So it's just
Well,
it's
you've seen what it's like with me, because I literally go from one project to the other. Like our 101's done, and then we started Molly. No, as in Molly's done, and then I'm on to Tusks for London, and then as soon as Tusks is done, we're starting on Shutter. So it's just
I
like
don't know the last time I had a free weekend. But that's the thing is,
And
folks, I
then
remember me.
when we did have it, I deliberately gave us a free weekend,
Uh-huh.
and Chelsea was like, "What do I do with myself?" And I
I
was
know
like,
I
"Should we,
don't like
should we
this.
record something?" He's like, "Yeah."
I know, I just didn't know what to do. I was literally like, I bought a new game on my Switch. I was twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, I don't like free weekends. Abby,
Abby,
can
you
we
know Last of
record
Us is
something?
done. Can we record it? Sure.
And then everyone just said yes to it. And I'm like, hooray! Yeah, I can do something. And then afterwards, you're sitting there like, but that's the thing, that's the thing. It's like after you record an episode with everybody there as well, you just feel so accomplished. It's different whenever you just like, you know, oh, I'll send these lines in. I'll send lines in and that'll be it. It's totally different. Like
Yeah.
in our group, it's like you work all together. Nothing has never sounded out of place.
No,
We all sound we're in the same room because basically we
we
are
are.
in the same room. And everything flows together. You just feel so accomplished. And then once that thing comes out, especially when you add the ambience, the sounds, the effects, oh, it's just that just amazing feeling. But we like spit audios out like anything. We really do. And I don't know when that's going to stop. I don't think it ever will. I really don't. We just keep spitting them out.
I just added another one to my list.
Oh, I know. Another one. I see. But yeah, so how did you like recruit the others? Like, like Matt Barrett and all, you knew Lauren as well.
I say
Like
most
how did
most of
they?
them most of them were purely because they were doing the RPs on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of thingy from there. Laura and I knew before TikTok. Laura and I
All right.
met. I think it was a Doctor Who like Facebook page, and we were doing like classic watch-alongs during lockdown. And there was a couple of Americans and a couple of Brits, and we'd sit down over an evening and watch a classic Who and then talk about it afterwards. That's how I met Lauren and Zach. But yeah, everybody else within TT was mainly TikTok RPs and stuff like that. But now, put a casting call out and then just see who shows up.
And then there's me that doesn't know nothing. Apart from Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. I don't know anything. And that's one thing. Like even we were on like a call with James Sutton. And James Sutton, everybody knows who James Sutton is.
Yeah.
It's James Sutton. Um and whenever he was pointing out his lovely collection that is very high, like a lot of security around it, just influencing that.
Yeah, there's lasers and everything.
Lasers, everything, invisible lasers. There's, like
Dogs.
sharks, just darks, Dogs,
Darks.
sharks with lasers on their head, pure high security stuff. And he was showing us his collection. Some things I recognised, and there was one thing I was just like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Chelsea, this is from this episode with this doctor." And I'm like, "Man, I don't have a clue." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm disgusting his voice. He was just like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" How, Chelsea, you've been doing Doctor Who voice acting for 6 years. How do you not know
We
what this
don't
is?
know it.
I'm like, "Lad, I don't watch Doctor Who." And he's like, "How did you even do this?" And I was like, "Connor,
There's,
like, yeah, I know some things."
but like, I don't have this like endless knowledge of Who. I'll just sit down and watch it. I don't like
You know more than
take
I do.
anything in.
That's one thing that me and you need to do
Yeah,
is me and you watching certain episodes and me
100%.
reacting to them.
100%. We need to do it on a Zoom. We need to do it. It'd be funny. I'm more clueless about the new stuff.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched new stuff.
I ain't
Like
got a clue. I've not got a
again,
clue.
David Tennant was my doctor, and that's the only one that I watched religiously.
Well, that's the one that Noah watches on a loop.
Hmm.
So, but the my like area of expertise is like the Fifth Doctor. So it's like the 80s, early 80s. Purely because I have a thing for most of the cast.
Fair. That is fair.
I literally just watch it for pretty people.
That's fair.
I ain't got a clue half the stuff. No one knows more than me.
No, it's like some things I know. The things that Connor has included in his episodes that I'm in, surprisingly, I know. I'm like, "Oh, I know what a Jadun is. I know what a Suntaran is. I know what that is.
Back to
Oh,
Coracle
geez,
Phalapatorius.
Raxacorical Falbatorius. And it's sister planet. Colum. I know that. I know that. I know that. The Absorbaloff. See, I do know me
You
stuff.
do know.
Just not a lot.
No.
And the Scarecrow ones, I recognise
Yeah,
that.
but there's a reason why I tend not to write Who.
That's here. Now I'll tell you now the amount of times that I have texted Connor being like, "Right, Connor, what is that? And how do I pronounce it?" And then I have to try and translate it from his English accent to mine. And I'm like, "I don't know. I know for a fact half of the things that I've said in those episodes are completely wrong." And
Go with it.
I just like, here, I don't say it wrong, it's just me accent. I just blame it on that. I've done it so many times, and I know I'm not going to get away with it for much longer. But it is what it is. It's one of the things.
I've literally written 3 episodes of Who.
Hmm.
That
But
is it.
most of the episodes that you write have Bastra in it.
No, I don't even count Paternoster. I
Oh, do
don't
you
count
not?
that as Who. No, I don't really count that as Who.
Well, that's fair,
Because
because like a
there's no
signed.
Doctor.
Yeah, very true.
Literally, I've written 3 episodes of Doctor in a Doctor Who. That is it. Because I'm
My
always
God.
scared that somebody's going to be like, "That's not a thing," and I'll be like, "So history. Yeah, this is history. I know
Hmm.
about this. Look at the Match Girls."
Yeah,
Like,
that's one thing you have a really big interest in is like Victorian history. Like, geez, you're like a walking history book. You're a walking museum because you know for a fact every single thing.
3 degrees.
But you know it, and that's one thing that I admire because you can see the passion that you have for it and the love you have for it for that time, and it comes out a lot in your writing as well. How it's just like really,
I can write not Victorian. It's just like
it's
my
cool.
comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like whenever it comes like The Last of Us that we're doing, this is my area
Yeah,
of
that's your area of expertise.
I'm just like, no, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that in this situation, would you? No,
Stop shouting at
no,
the clickers.
shouting at the clickers. No, but that's one thing. It's like everybody has their niches is the word, like their
Yeah.
likes and everything. Zombies and Last of Us is definitely mine. Your Victorian history. I'm like, haha. So whenever this came up and whenever you guys got into it, I was like, and whenever we did like the writing and everything for it, I'm like, I know exactly what should happen. Like literally just the ideas come flooding out in my head and I'm like, yep. I'm like, but you wouldn't do that in this scenario. And I'm like, like especially with like the bloaters, and I'm like, it's a bloater. It's a big, massive, shebangy thing.
Don't shoot it, you twat!
Don't shoot it. It has gas attached to it, and it throws things at you, and it goes. Poof. I know this. I
Where's
know
your
it
gas
religiously. It's like, yeah, like I know a lot about it because
mask?
it's just something that I find very highly interesting, and horror as well. So like, see, like gory stuff and all that stuff. My, that's my thing. That's my thing. It's like the Pat gang. That we have a lot of like Pat gang, like the wee minisodes.
Yeah,
Like,
bites.
yeah, Pat bites. Like we have a lot of them written by a lot of people as well that are not even in TT. Like there's some that we do have in TT, and then there's some that are on our Patreon,
Yeah.
and they have written stuff which is really really good. Because I was having like a wee look at them last night because I'm
I
gonna
could
be
see,
editing.
because I was looking at the Dropbox and they're all activated. I was
That's
like,
what,
oh,
just like beging
yeah.
beging, your computer goes off. But yeah, I just find it really amazing how somebody can come up with like these amazing ideas. And it makes me want to get into more writing as well and do more. Like I know The Last of Us, if I asked March to write stuff, he'd be like, yes, do it.
Like, I've already mentioned Reanimated on about 5 or 6 different podcasts now, so it's not
Uh-huh.
even like a hidden thing now. But if it gets, so I'm writing episode 1, but if it does get picked up, I'll probably get you on as a co-writer for 2, because
Oh
it's
yeah,
zombies.
here. See, zombie, gore,
I
yes.
mean, it's zombies and like people becoming unalive, you know.
And you know for a fact I'll be sitting there being like, can I do a zombie sound effect, please? Can I be a zombie 25?
Zombie 25. Let's say if it picks up, I'll probably get you in for episode 2 as
Mm-hmm.
a co-writer.
Awesome. Love being recruited. We love it. But like, yeah, there's like so that's one thing. In TT, you don't limit yourself to who. You do so much more than that. Like there, like we've had like there The Last of Us. We do like the wee interviews. We do Penny Dreadfuls
Yeah.
is another one. And there's just so much more. And then obviously the Pat and Oster gang, that's another one.
Oh,
And
101.
our 101, that's history. Match Girls is
Match
also
Girls.
history. There's so many. So many. I
Like,
wonder what's the next one? What's the next genre we're going to do? God knows.
oh, I think we're running out because we've got Who, like
The
Game to Audio,
Plague.
Game to Audio, Who,
Hmm.
History, Penny Dreadfuls.
The Irish Plague.
You know, I'm going to be doing something along the lines of Irish.
Oh, but so many Irish accents. Ah.
Yeah, I will be at some point. That is the
Hmm.
plan. But my next, after like history wise,
Hmm.
my next history one is Shackleton. So
Mm. Oh, there's just so many. So many. And like the genres are limitless. It's just like, here, we should have an idea of doing this and this. Oh, that sounds interesting. And then it just happens. Like, I don't know how you do it. It's like literally you just put ideas on like a thing and then you just go blah, 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 blah.
basically,
But yeah, I still find it absolutely outstanding that yins are just over a year old and you have so much stuff out. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the amount of characters that people play, yes, like we are, getting people that are outside of TT, but a lot of people that are within TT have so much range to them. And it's absolutely crazy. Like how many characters have you played
right.
on
So
average?
Charlie,
Hmm.
Jenny, Jennifer in Queer,
Hmm.
Rebel, the Rani. So within TT, I think I've only had 5 characters.
And then
But
outside that is like,
and then outside of that, I've been Gwen, Cooper, Leela, like voices that you know, and then obviously Mary for next point, and then a load of stuff with Connor that I'm not allowed to talk about because you'll come round and
yeah,
shoot.
yes, he would. I know he would.
That's what I mean. And then Overtons, and then beep. This stuff is
Beep.
censored. But yeah, but they range from Jenny, Cockney to posh to Northern to Southern American. That was my that was out my comfort zone. That is out my
Yeah,
comfort
but
zone.
that here it was the same with me when it came to like I only had experience doing my own accent, nothing else, and then Abby was just like, "Hey, you're gonna do this." I'm like, oh, "Okay, I don't get a choice in this." No, you're going to do this because I know you can. I'm going to push you. Now go. And I'm like, oh, and that's why I'm glad that Bridgerton came out when it did.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just sitting there binge watching this, being like, okay, I can now do Clara from Varney, like Varney the vampire. That's bloody crazy, crazy. And now I do there. So my own accent. I've done a their posh English, which is quite nice. We love that. Some posh English, but various tones, shall I say? And like, there's I don't know what accent Sticker is. I really don't. She's just
She wants to be a
Sticker,
Cockney.
an attempting Cockney.
She wants to be a Cockney.
And like, there's just so many. Like, there's these accents that I never thought I could do, and now I'm like sitting there just talking randomly in these accents. Like, it's sort of like just me literally copying what you said. I remember on Zooms, I would even turn myself on mute, just repeating what you were saying, just so I could sound sort of legible.
I remember when we were just literally going, Winder, 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 Winder.
Winda. But it's so fun. It's fun at the same time. Like, it's like whenever you're recording and everything, if you get something wrong, like I know there's a blipper reel that is going to be made. It has been promised. And it's just like me and my wee blipper reels for my different accents being like, ooh, hoity hoity, ah, bah, ah,
Blah, blah, blah,
da,
blah.
da, 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 da. Ah, let me do that again. But it's the thing. It's like with voice acting, it's not just sitting down in a chair saying things.
100%. It's not as easy as people,
It's not
it's not
not.
as easy as it sounds.
It's like with Razlon Productions. He came in for uh, bloody Clara and everything. Jeez, I forgot the name of it already.
Scarlet Lust.
Scarlet. God's sake. Scarlet Lust. He came in and he voiced a character in Scarlet Lust. And obviously, he didn't really have much experience with voice acting in the first place. And it's just like, here, if you're doing an action scene, like running or struggling with somebody, if you're not out of breath and feel like you're actually going to faint, then you haven't done it right. There's just so much effort that goes into it. Like for me, anyway, it's kind of like, it's just kind of like, it's is what it is. I
We
just
don't think
always
about
do
it
it.
anymore now, though.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
like
it.
the season TTers. We don't need to be directed to run. We don't need
Yeah,
to be
we just do.
directed to be like background action and all that stuff. It just
hmm
happens.
It just happens. It's just kind of like, like clockwork now.
Mm.
It's just is what it is. Like I know if I have an action scene or if I have to do something physical or running or anything, I will stand up and I will do it like that. And you're like doing the motions and everything. But I'll tell you, is like the hardest thing I've ever had to do was for Molly. Was for Molly and Molly 2 that's coming out. Can we talk about Molly 2? Can we
Yeah,
talk about this?
because by the time this comes out, I'm hoping that that's come out.
Oh well, here you go. So, if you haven't watched Molly 2, this is your sign to watch Molly 2 and then come back to this episode. But basically, in the story of Molly 2, obviously the people already know if they already tuned into the first Molly that Molly gets preggo. And obviously, at the end of like nearly 9 months, you have to become unpreggo. You have to have a baby. And that's one thing. It was the most it was the most challenging, I'll say. It was the most challenging thing I've had to do because I had to give birth. Again, I binge watched the show called The Midwife. I binge watched it just so I could get ideas of how to give birth without anesthesia or any of that lovely stuff that makes it easier. It's not anesthesia, but you know what I mean. This nice stuff that makes it not bad. So then trying to do that, so getting all your research down, not that I took any notes or anything, but it's just like, the stuff.
The
The
general
gist.
noises.
Yes. It helped, but still like it's
You
really like
smashed
I was
it as
sitting there,
well.
I was out of breath completely, like literally. You don't understand the physicality. A lot of people, it's physicality that go into it because if you're not being physical when you are doing this, then it's kind of like you're losing a bit of something. It's like it's not fully there, so that's why a lot of physicality comes into it.
I think my hardest one was Into Insanity
Mhm.
because Jenny literally gets electrocuted and strangled and gagged and God knows what else that happens to her. And I had to be stood here and like
Mhm.
trying to like emulate it. I remember I was literally like covering my mouth and
Mhm.
like pulling myself away and all this stuff when I was like fighting people off. That's that even now, even though that was like one of our first paternosters we did, generally acting wise, I think that's been my hardest so far. Like
Mhm.
acting wise, accent wise, it's Rebel, but like acting
Mhm.
wise, it's definitely Into Insanity. Because
Mhm.
I went for a nice friendly story to open up with a paternosters because it's me.
Yes, that's your writing. You just want everybody to suffer.
It's more interesting.
But yeah, like I think everybody has that sort of peak, either character or part of a storyline where it's like your hardest to do. But with us, it's different. Like I didn't have a full bloody entourage with me for that scene. It was only me and you. And I remember you saying to me, right, shall we have a read through first and we try it and then
No, let's
we'll
go
do
to
it.
it.
And then I was just like looking at it and I was like scrolling through. Nah, let's just do it. Let's do it. I'll do it now. Because a lot of that happens with us. A lot of that happens with there's like me, Matt Barrett, Grace, we kind of, and you
Go
as well,
straight
we
in.
all yeah, go straight in because we kind of already know the crack and we know that first initial emotion is usually the best and you
Yeah.
can't replicate it if you do like a read.
When it's the like season TTers, we don't tend to practice, do we? We just tend to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you get the Chelsea going blah 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
But yeah, it's like the first initial reaction and the first actiony stuff is the best one to use. And I know for a fact if we had to re-record it, we
It
wouldn't get
doesn't
the
work. I
same.
say
We wouldn't get the same thing.
we figured that out from the amount of times we've had to do stuff now. Like you're better
Hmm.
off just going straight in and smashing it out. Like
Oh yeah,
Ginger.
exactly. Like we haven't had a bad one, if you know what I mean. It's always been good. It always has come out great. The first time we do it, do it.
Doo doo.
But yeah, but yeah, it's an amazing experience because I've always had that, you know, just setting them in. I've had both experiences setting them in, and when I came to TT, it was just like, you do what?
I still love when we recruited James Sutton the other day. Both of us at the same time we went, we do things differently here
We
at
do things
TT.
differently in TT. And he's like, right. And so it's like, right, do you have a laptop or a device that supports Google Chrome? Yes. Ah, do you have a microphone? And he was so, like, literally at the same time recording his lines for Connor. He's like, I am using one right
Yes.
now. And I'm like, oh, you are recruited. Congratulations. He's like, that's the initiation test you were talking about? Yes. Good. Good. You've done good so far. Don't let us down. But that everybody who has come into our group is just like, what? You do what? And it's a different experience, but again, it's like whenever you go back to like recording stuff for people and just send them in, you're like, you want to ask somebody, is that okay? You want feedback? You just like,
At the end of every recording that I send in to someone else, whether that's Connor or someone else, I'll be like, right, if you're not happy, I'm quite happy to
I'm the
redo
same.
it all. If
I'm the
there's something
same.
bad.
I'm the same. I'm just like, there you go. But if I done bad, tell me and I will redo
I'll
it.
redo it.
And then you sit there for like half an hour and then they'll be like, no, It was fine. And I'm like, are are you sure?
Sure.
Are you?
You
You
sure?
always you always second guess yourself when
Oh
you're
yeah.
by yourself sending things in.
But I think
But
that's another good thing about the whole recording live because you do get that. Yes, that was good
mhm,
straight
is that
away,
right,
rather
Jen?
than being yeah, is that right, Jen? Rather than just being like, did I do bad?
Yeah, you have like that validation that it's good,
Yeah.
and like you have that confidence with other people because it's there. And obviously, we're not serious all the time when it comes to like stuff like that. Like especially with Mart, whenever he voiced Jack, like he was bless him, he was like laughing at me, like, no, you are incredible. It is great. You're brilliant. Don't do it any
No,
differently.
so good.
Please do not change this. Do
Brilliant.
not change this whatsoever. But yeah, that was great. We love that. But as well, like I know your most known is Jenny. And I don't see you doing like no Jenny anytime soon, you know what I mean? Like what made you want to do Jenny first off? Like how did that start
So it started off as a cosplay
for
on
TikTok?
TikTok. Yeah, because I remember, because at the time I didn't have this hair. I had Jenny hair, literally. I had
Mhm.
Jenny hair, and I remember being like on TikTok, was like, oh, should I cosplay Jenny Flint because it was just like a waistcoat, a tie, pair of green trousers, and I basically had it on. And everybody was like, yes, cosplayer. So I started cosplaying that outfit, and then I was like, oh, I could do this one as well. And then gradually I basically got all of her cosplays. It's slightly
Mhm.
ridiculous. Um, which I never wear anymore. They're all up in the loft doing nothing.
Get
Um,
them back out again.
well, you
Get
don't
them
need
out
them for
again.
voice acting. There's just so much
I,
effort to put on a corset just for like a 60-second video.
that's one thing. We can just sit in our jammies. I usually sit in my
Yeah.
couch today while I record.
Like, imagine if we had to put corsets on to record like Molly and Jenny.
Man, no harm. I wore that corset one time. I could walk in it. I could breathe in it. But see if
You
I had to
probably
do
have
any
you
of
probably
these
have to dig
accents.
dig one out for Match Girl cover.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm gonna get a nice good
I'm
outfit
getting my
for it.
corset out for Match Girl cover. But
That's another thing. It's another thing. Like we always strive, like see whenever it comes to covers and everything that we do, a lot of people would just use either the characters from a show or make up a cover like that. But we kinda a lot of people in our group strive to, and I know I'm especially one of them, strive to have their own costume and their own look to have something for the cover.
like gradually we're stopping using Catherine's Jenny
Hmm.
for Paternoster. So the next batch of the Paternoster gangs, one's got Alia on the cover. I'm not going to give too much away about that story, but Alia Itori is on the cover as Vastra.
Hmm.
And then I'm on the cover of Streetwise, and that's we're trying to start putting me on the cover rather than
Yeah.
Catherine. Oh, do you know I love doing the Rebel photo shoot. Oh,
Oh,
that
I know.
was so
But that's
much
one
fun.
thing that the photo shoots that we all do, it's not, it doesn't even seem like effort. It's just so much excitement built around it as well. Like I remember from Molly, I just wore it was like a top that my mum had, and I was just like, oh, I'll yoink that. Oh, I have a corset as well. I'll yoink that as well. And then I just had a black skirt, and I was like, even doing the photo shoots for that is so much fun. And like whenever I first seen the initial photo and the cover, I was like, oh my God, I love this. But that's why I always try and strive to do is have the own costume, have a look,
It was
because
like
like it's different.
Noah with
Mhm.
this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like he looks absolutely incredible. Bless him. Because it was it looks so messy.
It was messy.
And it's like the same for my one as well. Like that's for Ellie for The Last of
Yeah.
Us. Like even though yes, my hair is brown that photo, obviously Abby had a nice wee
Hello.
Photoshop session and made it brown. But like I tried to do my best to have the costume as accurate to the game as possible. So I had like a black top underneath that I already had. I got the red top that has like, the print on it that's literally from the game, and I just muddied it up. Like I even got my brother to drive. I wanted to make it muddy, so I literally put it on the mucky ground and got him to drive over it on his bike and everything. And I was sitting there smacking it out in the middle, like outside my house.
When I did the Rebel photo shoots, I deliberately waited for my garages to flood so I could stand in a puddle.
Mhm.
And then
But
I
it's
was
so fun.
absolutely soaked as well because I was taking pictures in the rain.
But it
So
adds more. It adds
yeah,
more, personality and
I'm
all to
looking
it to
forward to
have your own
doing.
look.
I'm looking forward to doing the match girl cover because that's going to be the back to the hold a match, take a
Oh
picture.
yeah.
It's going to be one of them again.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait for that. And I know for a fact, especially from last time, I'm going to get extra long matches.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the. I only had the little ones last time, and I had so
No,
many who just dotted
oh,
around.
I was surrounded by them in my bathroom. My mom was like, were you burning something in here?" And I'm like, matches," because I was sitting there like, ah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
ah,
get the extra long ones for
extra
the
long
photo.
ones. Yeah, 100%. That's one thing you learn. It's just like extra long matches. They're needed.
Especially as I'm gonna have to put a wig on for mine. So
I'm just gonna get mine photoshopped
yeah, you're
as
all right.
usual.
But mine's an actual person, so I kind of have to
Oh yeah,
do them
like
justice.
that's different. Like most of my characters that I have played have either been fictional people, or so I can like have that creativity
Yeah,
about it. Or I played somebody from a game, so obviously the likeness and everything. So I had like the scar above Ellie's eyebrow, and I put the slit in my eyebrow just to give it that extra effect. I cut my hair just so it would
yes,
sit.
you got it.
I cut my hair on a Zoom just so it, and there's photos of it somewhere. Somebody has photos and screenshots of this Zoom that we did when I was cutting my hair with a pair of nail scissors,
Yeah.
and because I wanted my hair to sit right. I'm not condoning that everybody should do it. Don't be cutting your hair and shaving off your eyebrows. No, no. It was just me because it's me.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
No, I feel like it's kind of spreading. Everybody seems to be putting more effort in their photo
Hmm.
shoots and covers now. I mean, every single one of the Last of Us pictures that we have for the covers, like Strax ones and like the Grace ones, and
Oh, they look incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like, and especially because we can't be together in like the same setting, we just get everybody plopped onto the same image. Like, especially the one where we're all like, I'm standing in front of, it was like a rundown Jeep, and we're
oh
all
yeah, yeah,
stood
for
there.
everybody.
And I was like, whoa, we all look like we're in the same place. But like, whenever we do have an opportunity to be in the same place, we kind of take that and use that for photo shoots.
Those
Like when
photo shoots are
we're away in
another.
July.
They are another like. Oh,
Oh,
can't really
it
talk
brings
about.
out so
Can't
many
really talk about a
emotions.
lot of those photos because a lot of that stuff's not even out yet. But
Yeah,
oh god, yeah, they're fun.
they're so good. It brings out so many emotions as well. But it's so fun. And then afterwards you get to like take it all off and you're like, no, I don't want to do
The
this. But
last, the last cover art I did, I posed for was Shutter.
hmm
I got me stood there with my ginger wig and my camera on, like.
I don't even think I've seen them. I don't even think I've seen them photos. And I'm like, I feel left out. I feel left out. I don't see
I
them.
think I sent them straight to Chambers.
But bless Noah, especially for that photo shoot that he had to do, bless him in his wee cotton socks. Like he was like covered in what was it, like cake batter
It was
or
cake
something?
batter, but well, it wasn't. It was like flour, water, and cocoa powder. Like just like spread it on him like butter. Like
But he looks so good in those photos.
it worked out really
So
well.
good. Oh, bless him. The effort that you must have to go through to do it. And it's usually just, oh, I'll do it because mommy says so.
But he kept complaining he wasn't on a cover. Yeah. I want to be on a cover. I was like, okay. So spoilers. He's playing a mudlark in my first Doctor's episode of Dickensian. He's playing a mudlark. And I was like, I'll put you on the cover. There we go.
But he looks so good. It looks amazing. Like even with like just that little bit, like me with like literally smacking my shirt off the ground to get grass stains and
Yeah, but
muck.
then Brandon when on for Charlie for before Vastra with the coal on his face. Like,
Oh, I. Oh, but he loved that.
yeah.
I just said to him, I was like, right, I'm gonna do a photo shoot tonight, but you're gonna be doing it as well. And he's like, oh, okay, what do I have to do? Right, go get your white vest that's in the wash, because we're gonna get it dirty. And literally, we lit a fire that day, and obviously there was coal in the coal bucket. I just stuck my hand straight in there, and I was like, here, give me your face. I'm gonna put this on your face. And then I was just like, nee. I just did that with his face, and he's like, I got the flat cap. It's like just simple little things, like little touches, and like just putting coal in his arms and
Oh,
everything.
they are fun. They are
But
fun.
bless him. At the time, he didn't have his two front teeth,
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
and he had no teeth, so it was just perfect. It looked perfect anyway. He looked like a little Oliver Twist boy. Oh, but it was so
That's
cute.
what you
It's
need to
fun.
do.
For a sticker, I need to do that.
You need
She
to do
is
your
a character.
sticker ones.
No, I'm even going to do. You know, like you ever seen like movies where they black out the tooth that gets knocked out? I'm going to do that as well. I really am because I've always said she literally sounds like she has a lisp because she doesn't have a front tooth. I've always said that, and I'm going to get like a little black piece of paper and just stick it on there, or a wee black marker or something, just like her eyeliner, just color it out. And like I don't smile with my teeth, so this one's gonna like no tooth. And I'm gonna put my hair up in the cap and white shirt and everything, but I'm gonna rip it up and everything. But it's fun. It is really fun because it's like it's just you just get to look like something that you don't typically look like, and it's like adding that bit more and like having your face on a cover. It's crazy. Like even whenever I did show Brandon, my brother, just like him on a cover, he's like, "That's really cool."
That's why no one wanted to be on one. Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
it was so good. Like again, 100 episodes out in just like over a year. Crazy. That's your new goal for next year. Have
Another 100.
another 100 or 100. I think you're going to come out with a lot. I don't know. I think because we are like not typically doing Doctor Who things, we're branching into more different genres. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be even more. And I bet you, like me, obviously, I'll probably come out with a story or something as long as it's not Doctor Who related. If it's zombies or anything like the supernatural, hi, I'm Chelsea Lagan. I have written this. Ta-da! But obviously, check with you and be like, "This is alright, Jen."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but it's like it's fun doing these, fun doing like little interviews and stuff. But like that, you should be like immensely proud for all the stuff that you have done, especially with like the like things with Jenny and things with like new characters that you have and the amount of stories and amazing episodes with like different audios that you've come out with. You should be amazing, like immensely proud of yourself because I am. I'm proud of you, and I've only known you for over a year. I am proud of you, James. I'm very proud of you, and I just can't wait to see what the next things that you're going to come up with. What else that amazing mind is going to come up with next, and you're going to cast as well. Just it's not going to be me. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, is there anything else we'd like to talk about or anything? You don't think so? You think got everything covered?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So that was TT Conversations with Abby Louise. I have been your host, Chelsea Lee Lagan, and I hope you join us in our next episode of TT Conversations, who would be
James.
James York. James York, the amazing, talented James York, who does the music for a lot of TT, and who has won an award for the Vivian Awards for, stuff with Venus Flint and everything. But yeah, the next episode is going to be with him. I promise you, it's not going to be interviewed by me because this is only going to be like a one-off. It's probably going to go back to Abby, 100%. So I'll see you later then.
Bye.
Bye.